A Spokane woman lost her life savings when her house down payment was intercepted by scammers. It's happening with frightening frequency, and she hopes her story will help save you.
And I said, well, I got the transfer instructions and sent the money. He said, what?
We are seeing some snow moving into the area. The highest concentrations, though, will be in northern Idaho. Tracking that, and very cold temperatures on the way this week, and so is your forecast.
On any given night, there are about 1,200 people experiencing homelessness in Spokane, and city leaders are trying to strike that balance between supporting downtown businesses and helping the homeless.
People should have a shelter over their head, but businesses should also be able to operate.
It's just getting worse and worse and worse. Yesterday I had people living out of my dumpster.
There needs to be a spot for people to go. We just need to make sure and do it right.
How do you think the city is handling the homeless situation?
They're not. They would love us to just disappear.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
Welcome everyone. I'm Jane McCarthy. Homelessness in Spokane has dominated the conversation the past 2 months. We've reported on funding for shelters, protests, and concerns the issue is hurting downtown businesses.
So how did we get here and what is the city doing about it? I set out to find some answers. It's just after 7 on a recent Tuesday night. The temperature outside is right around freezing, and the South Cannon Warming Shelter offers an escape. How do you stay warm if you're not in here?
You don't. You just huddle up with whoever you're with, my little dog here, and whatever, and do your best.
Barb was among the 43 people lucky enough to snag a spot here for the night. This shelter reached capacity in less than 30 minutes.
Is this the first time I've ever been homeless?
For the 54-year-old, being here means warmth and safety.
It's scary to be outside and have to sleep. I don't sleep most of the time. Today we, took a nap under a bridge because it's crazy, but you have to just go wherever you think it might be safe.
Her story is far from unique. According to the annual Everybody Counts survey, she is one of roughly 1,200 people experiencing homelessness across the Spokane community. And this year, the issue became impossible to ignore. Homeless advocates set up camp outside of City Hall, calling for a repeal of the sit-and-lie and anti-camping ordinances. And they took to the streets demanding a 24/7 full-service shelter. Meantime, city leaders scrambled to open more warming shelters. All the while, many downtown business owners complained the city's homeless were driving away customers and compromising their safety.
Within the last year, it's just getting worse and worse and worse.
Rita Santillanes owns this building off West 3rd Avenue near Division. She says she calls police several times a month to report people sleeping in her dumpster, fighting, or doing drugs in her parking lot. She shared this picture with us from over the summer of a woman passed out on her property with several needles by her side.
People need to understand none of us are trying to be heartless. We all understand that there's a problem and it needs to be addressed. But we also have to pay our mortgages. The bank isn't going to say, oh, well, there's a problem at your location, so just don't make your payment this month. And if our patrons are afraid to come in to our establishment, we don't have anyone that wants to lease the property.
It's a similar sentiment from Kirsten Hines, who manages the Rocket Bakery on Wall Street in downtown Spokane.
It definitely happens more in the winter months, so when it's colder out.
Like Rita, she feels for people living on the street, but says the situation downtown is getting worse.
We also want to maintain a level of peace here as well, so it is tough to find that balance, but we just do the best we can.
But it really became more visible in the community, and we heard from a lot more citizens on all sides of the issue.
We took their concerns to City Council President Ben Stuckert. He acknowledged that business owners have been impacted, and he points to a couple of causes. He says there's a housing crisis in Spokane.
We're just not building enough housing in our community.
Fewer vacancies and rising rent are compounding the problem. Then in September, the city and Catholic Charities decided to reduce the capacity of the 24/7 shelter at the House of Charity by 150 beds.
And there were just too many people in a building that wasn't built for 300 people. So when that closed down, it then really became visible to the community.
With fewer shelter beds, the city council voted in November to suspend sit-lie until more shelter spaces came online. And business owners like Rita say they were left to deal with the consequences.
So when I myself This is our corporate offices, and when I myself am afraid to walk out after dark, we walk out in groups now, or we have pepper spray in our purses. That's not a good thing.
People should have a shelter over their head, but businesses should also be able to operate, and that's the balance we're trying to achieve.
Stuckert says progress is being made. Sit and Lie is set to be reinstated next week, and the city is looking to open another homeless shelter by July 1st outside of the downtown core, so that once warming shelters like the one here on South Cannon close for the season, people like Barb have somewhere to go.
You can't describe it. I mean, just anybody that think about it, how would they like to be homeless, 54 years old, disabled, and live on the street in this weather?
Well, Stuckert says in 2019 the city is set to spend more than $2.4 million on the issue of homelessness. A grant from HUD is helping to create what is called an Envision Center, which will serve as a single location where someone can go to get connected with a variety of resources to help them out of homelessness. Spokane, by the way, one of just 18 cities nationwide selected for that program and that grant. It'll start taking appointments coming up in March. So bottom line, there are several causes of homelessness, no single solution. The city just really trying to still figure it all out.
Yeah, at least the dialogue is happening among all sides. It's,
right.
It's a tough one.
Can't ignore it.
Thanks, Mark. Well, pretty much the whole area was planning for a snowy Super Bowl Sunday, but the winter weather advisory canceled for eastern Washington. North Idaho, however, still under an advisory tonight.
Let's get straight to Chief Meteorologist Tom Sherry. Tom?
Yeah, you take a live look outside. You can see our roads are really in good shape. We are seeing some very cold temperatures and really some brutal wind chills that are moving into the area. Here's what it looks like up at Snoqualmie Pass. By the way, not only snowing at Snoqualmie Pass, it's also snowing in Seattle right now. So they're having to deal with that. We've got snow on the roadway at Lookout Pass, so you're going to run into real winter driving conditions in the higher elevations. We've had some wet snow falling in over in the Coeur d'Alene area, east of Coeur d'Alene. This is Veterans Memorial Bridge on I-90. So as Jane and Mark were referencing, the advisory was dropped for the Spokane area. We still have a winter storm warning, though, down in the lower Columbia Basin and parts of the Palouse. All of this shaded in yellow is the winter weather advisory, and then parts of northern Idaho also and western Montana under that winter storm warning. So these areas could get anywhere between 3 to 6 inches of snow in the valleys. This area is shaded in pink, and up to a foot of snow expected up in the mountains. These are the wind chill temperatures outside, the feels like temperature. Now that we're getting the stronger winds out of the north, feels like it's 3 degrees in Coeur d'Alene, 14 in Spokane, 11 in Deer Park, 9 is the feels like temperature in Wallace. Current temperatures are below freezing. We're now in the teens in Coeur d'Alene and Sandpoint. Again, this cold air all moving in from the north and the northeast. 26 now in Spokane. We've got 14 in Omak and 15 degrees for a current temperature in Mazama. This is the latest Doppler radar. Not all that impressive. We're still seeing some snow falling across areas of northern Idaho and north central Idaho. And we think we're going to see more move into our area about this time tomorrow night. So let me run the Future Tracker computer model for you. Look at this at 11 o'clock tomorrow evening. This is snow that moves in. It pretty much follows I-90 all the way up through the Spokane and Coeur d'Alene I-90 corridor, then out towards the Silver Valley. Doesn't last long, though. Should move out of the area. This is what we really think is going to be the problem. It's going to be the temperatures that we're seeing. As you can see, the overnight low is getting pretty darn cold. And when you take a look at the 10-day outlook, it goes like this. The coldest day this week will be Wednesday, 9 degrees, the overnight low. These are air temperatures, not wind chill temperatures. We'll continue with brutally cold weather through the weekend and into the first part of next week.
All right, Tom, thank you very much. In October, the city of Spokane launched a campaign to encourage people and businesses in Seattle to relocate to Spokane.
The campaign boasts of Spokane's affordable housing, shorter commute times, and many other features the Lilac City has to offer. KREM 2's Amanda Rowley joins us now with an update on how the campaign is going and what businesses have already made the move.
The Hacking Washington campaign is part of the city's plans to stimulate economic growth. The city hopes Seattle businesses will consider Spokane for a second headquarters, and as a result, entice Spokane natives to return home.
Spokane is thriving. Developers are breathing new life into old buildings. The iconic riverfront park is undergoing a major facelift, and the housing market is becoming more and more competitive. The Hacking Washington campaign highlights all of these features and more. So far, it's caught the attention of 2 Seattle-based companies. Rover is a dog-sitting startup. The company was already looking for a city to establish its second headquarters, and it found Spokane to be a right fit because it prioritizes multimodal transit, has a great urban culture, and lots of green space for Rover's 2- and 4-legged teammates. It will soon settle into its new offices at the Wonder Building once renovations are complete. The second is McKinstry, a construction engineering company. It moved here from Seattle several years ago, but the city marks the company as a positive response to the campaign because it's now helping lead another investment of over $100 million in the University District area. Julie Happy and Shauna Harshman with the City of Spokane oversee the campaign and the city's economic development. They found that many Seattle businesses didn't know Spokane's downtown is as thriving as it is, or the manufacturing Spokane has in the aerospace field, along with the growing tech community. So, the campaign has really helped Spokane shake off its old look and make Seattle businesses aware of the new opportunities it can offer.
The campaign is expected to continue through the end of 2019, and the city says it may even look at targeting other major cities like Boise in a similar campaign. Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
All right, imagine gathering your life savings to come up with a down payment for a house, but instead of going to the title company, the money gets diverted by scammers.
It's becoming far too common. Coming up, we introduce you to one local woman who lost her life savings to savvy scammers.